we're about to get the biggest iOS update we've ever seen. Yes, I'm talking about improvements to messages, Siri, the entire iOS, addition of AI features, and there's a slight chance we could be getting an app redesign. Let's dive into it. When it comes to iOS 18, Mark Gurman said that Apple CEO or even insider Apple employees are saying this will be the biggest update they've ever dropped. Yes, I'm talking about better iOS than when we went from 6 to 7, which was the iOS that brought us a complete redesign notification center, because back then, if you wanted to even turn off Bluetooth, you had to jump into settings, click Bluetooth and off. As for now, all you do is swap up and click a button. Yes, even a better iOS update than when we got customizable lock screen, widgets, and so much more. So I'm super excited about this update. When it comes to messages, one of the biggest ongoing battle between iPhone and Android user had been the blue bubble, green bubble fiasco. But Apple is planning to change that, because currently when we text between iOS devices, the best features, the biggest feature by far we get is end-to-end encryption, which offers the best security between your messages. Other smaller features involve red notifications, typing indicators, messaging effect, stickers, and so much more. Another big reason why people prefer communicating between iMessage device is the fact that if I send you a high quality photo or video, that's exactly how you're gonna receive it. As in, if I was to send it to an Android user, it's gonna be a lower resolution and quality than when I originally sent it. However, Apple is planning to completely change that, because Google has been pressuring Apple to adapt to the new messaging system called RCS. If you don't know, currently iPhone and Android, whenever they text each other, they seem to use SMS, which is a much old, outdated form of messaging. However, RCS is gonna bring that encryption that we love from Apple, and communication between Android and iOS devices, it's gonna be smooth, and we'll be able to get all these benefits that we're used to iMessages, like red notifications, typing indicator, emoji support, the ability to send audio message, and your picture and video quality is not going to be distorted. It's going to be exactly how it was sent, which is a big improvement. Now you might ask yourself, if this new messaging system has been here all along, how come Apple never adapted to it? Because to be honest, Google has been pressuring Apple, and they even created a bunch of memes or said it during their keynote, like, hey, we're talking about everybody needs to adapt to this standard. But Apple never adapted to it, because to me personally, I feel more and much more comfortable whenever I'm messaging a person and the bubble is blue. I know it's weird, but I believe Apple never adapted to it because they already have something so good like iMessages, and trying to change it, there's a slight chance they might lose some consumers, because believe it or not, a majority of people might buy iPhone because of how seamless it is to communicate among other people, especially like in group chats. Because when you have group chats with just iOS users, the group chat is so much better, but the second you add that Android person, they miss out on a lot of stuff that we currently have. However, we do know that Apple has become a little more lenient to letting other people use their services. The biggest one was FaceTime a couple years ago, whenever they gave us the ability to create a link like you do in Zoom and then send it to the person, and you guys are able to FaceTime with the person who doesn't have an iOS device. So it's a really good thing, the fact that Apple is willing to adapt to such an awesome messaging system, and it's gonna benefit everyone. Now, iPhone users might be like, are we still gonna get that full-on encryption that we get with the iMessages? The short answer is yes. In order to further proof iMessages, Apple has introduced a level 3 encryption called PQ3. What this is, it's a lot more complicated than it sounds, but in short, it's gonna provide a level 3 encryption from stuff like quantum computers. So the current encryption uses mathematical equations that can be solved by quantum computers in the near future. But Apple has found a way to encrypt it even further to where quantum computers won't be able to even get into your iMessages without your permission, which is awesome. So, like you can hear, when it comes to iMessages, we're getting a banger. We're getting so many improvements that are gonna not only help iPhone users, but also further communication between iOS and Android devices. Moving over to AI improvements, many people feel like Apple is falling behind when it comes to artificial intelligence because currently they have nothing that comes close to Microsoft's Copilot, ChatGPT, and Google Bard or Gemini. However, when VPs from Apple were asked whether they feel like they're falling behind when it comes to artificial intelligence, this was their response.
I don't believe we are.
Not too worried.
Not too worried.
So they laughed and said they were not worried at all. That's because I'm sure they're planning something massive that's about to blow everybody's mind. Because when Tim Cook was asked about this in Apple fashion, he said, "We'd rather be the best than be the first," which is awesome because, like we know, Apple loves to tweak and purify and clean up a feature or a new device before they drop it rather than try to be the first in line to do it. According to Mac rumors, Apple is spending over $1 billion in AI research, and Apple has bought out the most AI startup companies, more than Microsoft and Google and all the other competitors. So I do believe that Apple is cooking up something that's gonna be massive, that's gonna blow everybody's mind. And when we think about it, Apple has been planting seeds because when we look at all the new product that they're releasing, it has this called Neural Engine, which is supposed to help with stuff like artificial intelligence, generative AI, and so much more. So Apple has been planting seeds to prepare for all the AI features and updates that we're gonna be getting. Just like we already started seeing, Apple has started implementing a few AI features in our everyday apps. Apps like Apple Music, it does now provide song suggestion depending on the type of music you have in your playlist. And when it comes to messages, we can see now Apple is so much better at predicting the next word you're gonna say. Even like for a person like me who texts in multiple languages, now it also predicts some of those words in different language, which is insane. But it's rumored that iOS 18 is gonna bring us with the ability for iMessages to be able to type, "Hey, write me a message that says this," and then iMessage can just populate an entire message similar to what we see in ChatGPT. But this does not even come close to what I'm mostly excited about. Yeah, Siri is finally getting an update that we've been wanting for the longest time. Siri has fallen so far behind when it comes to or the other artificial intelligence in its category. It's actually sad. With Siri falling so far behind, it's rumored that Siri will take the advantage of all these new artificial intelligence features that Apple is adding to improve itself. In addition to that, Apple is adding LLMs, which are large learning models, to allow Siri to learn your habit or be able to answer your questions quicker than sending you to a web page. Because it is kind of sad every time you ask Siri, "Hey, tell me this," and instead of it telling you an answer straight out like ChatGPT, it sends you on the web. Which is one of the reasons that on my iPhone 15 I programmed my action button to bring up ChatGPT, so I can simply ask it a question, it's just gonna answer.
Absolutely. Just fire away with your question, and I'll do my best to provide you with an answer.
It sounds so much better, it sounds so more human, and that's exactly what we're getting with the new update when it comes to Siri. I can't tell you how excited I am about this, and we've been looking forward to it because an update to Siri is almost like a decade overdue. But I do believe what's going to make it even 10 times better than what we currently have with ChatGPT, it's the fact that it's going to do all the processing on your phone. So when it comes to ChatGPT, they have to be processed over the web because they require so much data. But Apple has found a new technology that allows them to add these LLMs straight to our devices, which will make Siri not only move faster, but it's gonna learn quicker, and it's gonna learn based on you, not somebody else, which is so much bigger than we can ever imagine. There is a big chance that this update can also be coming with a design change, because like we know, we've had the same design since 2013. That's over a decade of the same icons and everything. Yeah, they do change small, but we've had the same thing. However, Mike Gurman did say that there is a big chance that could be getting an update or design update, something similar to what we got with Vision OS, which would look super clean. But the biggest question is, do you prefer the round icons that we have in Vision OS, or would you rather stick to the regular square icon we've had for the entire lifespan of iPhone? Let me know in the comments below. When it comes to support, iOS 18 will support iPhones as far back as the iPhone XS and XS Max and the XR. Also, we also support the second gen of the iPhone SEs. But yeah, I can't tell you how excited I am about this update. Now, is there any other new features you're hoping that Apple will implement with iOS 18? Be sure to put those back in the comments, and as you're commenting to my video, don't forget to go ahead and hit that subscribe, because it helps me. It keeps me motivated to do videos like this. And yeah,